If you're an African in the diaspora like me, living through these chaotic times with the current crisis that's happening around the world, the pandemic, you're either freaking out and panicking or looking for opportunities because you heard so many times that it's during times like this that millionaires are made. Or three, you're puzzled and not too sure how to make sense of all of this. I've done quite a bit of research trying to figure this out for my own self, but really from the perspective of an African living in the diaspora. In this video, I'm going to work you through my approach in trying to make sense out of all of this. And more importantly, how I would look to turn this crisis into opportunities, depending on different situations. You may want to take note to put together your own exit strategy. What's up? My name is Aris and welcome to Diaspora Achievers. In this channel, I take the African diaspora on a journey to creating businesses that contribute to the development of Africa, help change the African narrative, and allow you to attain financial freedom. So if you're new here and want to be part of this journey, here are your first 2 steps. Click on the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as I release a new video to help you get closer to your goals. Number 2, there's going to be a link in the description below where you can get a copy of the eBook that I'm preparing for you. It is essentially a compilation or a collection of research results that reveal the obstacle that Africans in the diaspora face when creating African-inspired businesses in Africa and abroad, and also how they were able to overcome those obstacles. Now let's get into today's video. I'm not going to spend time and walk you through what coronavirus is, where it started and how it spread out. There's plenty of information out there that I'm sure you'll be able to find on your own. So as I wrapped up my research around this situation, 2 things emerge as super important. First, time and data are your friend. Just get the facts from sources that have no other motive but to state facts without bias or without trying to sell you anything. Don't fall for the he said, she said, or the forwards and the posts that you see on social media. Just focus on reliable sources. But it's definitely important and critical to stay aware of the situation and not play ostrich. Number 2, emotion are your enemy, because you don't want to make decisions to avoid fear. That could take you into a big hole. So with that being said, here are the 5 things that every African in the diaspora need to know during this time of crisis to prosper and help others around them. Number 1, it is important to understand that with this crisis comes opportunity for those who keep their composure and look for opportunities. If I remember correctly, Uber, Airbnb, Slack, and other companies were all created in and around the 2008 crash. You have to realize that your mind is going to find whatever you focused on. So if you focus on opportunity during this time, your mind is going to find opportunities. If you look for fear, that's why your mind is going to find. Which leads to point number 2. An opportunity is essentially a way for you to create value by solving a problem. Our homework right now is to start listing out all of the problems that we see created by this crisis. We can do so by simply looking around the news, listening to people around us, and to each problem that we've identified, list out at least 3 potential solutions. Let's keep in mind that if somebody is stressed out and scared, they will gladly pay for a solution to reduce their concern or completely eliminate their issue. Now let's look at it from 2 different perspectives. Short-term problems, long-term opportunities. The city of Toronto, where I live, has shut down schools, daycare, libraries, a bunch of different institutions for a minimum of 3 weeks. It might be the same in your city as well. Now, if you're a parent, that causes problem. How to keep your kids busy? Maybe as a parent, you have to work from home, so you may or may not be able to leave your kid unattended. So how are you going to get work done even if you work from home during those circumstances? Now imagine you were to come up with a solution for those parents. I bet you they'll be willing to pay a substantial amount of money to the most adequate solution. How many parents do you think would be willing to pay in your neighborhood, in your city, and even in your country? But just be mindful of the fact that once that crisis is over, the problem will no longer exist. Just keep in mind that once the crisis is over, that problem will no longer exist, and this business will most likely die. So I myself am working on my own list based on what I see around me and all the skill sets that I have. Are you doing the same exercise? If not, you should. The other perspective is looking for long-term opportunities. Now is a perfect time to build relationships. As you probably know, it's during tough time that we know who is who we can rely on and who we can't rely on. Therefore, now's a great time to reach out to prospective client, to prospective partner, or even someone you like to have as a mentor, for example. Go out and offer them support, attention, whatever the case may be. If you manage a team at the office, this is a good time for you to check in and get close to them, get to know them better outside of the day-to-day small talk that we're used to. And literally ask them about their concern, about the situation, and stuff of that nature. Find opportunities to help them out, give them more flexibility maybe, or simply bounce off ideas to create that bond with them. As far as I'm concerned, I'm putting together a list of people that I do want to reach out to and say, anything you need, I got you. You have to be intentional about it. You really and truly care for the person. Otherwise, it's going to backfire on you and it's going to ruin everything. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what most companies are doing today. Look around you or look at your inbox. Credit cards are easing, if not waiving penalty to give customers a break and show empathy during this outbreak. I believe T-Mobile is giving out unlimited data, and Ford is offering, I believe, 90 days payment deferral for new cars. Over here in Canada, banks are entertaining the idea of deferring mortgage payment for a few months. So if you have customer, you might want to get inspiration from these big companies and play the long-term game. Don't just expect anything to happen immediately. So if you want to take it further and then you have a platform, go ahead and apply your knowledge to the current situation, and your ideal audience will pay attention to you. Isn't that one of the goals of advertising anyways? Here's the third thing that we in the diaspora must do, especially if you have a little bit of extra cash on hand. You're probably going to make a killing during this time. Just look back at 2009, 2008. Everybody and the mother was trying to sell their house. Let's just use that as an example. The median sales price for home in the States during that time dropped down to about 29% according to Forbes. Imagine you had cash available and you purchased just one house. You would essentially have purchased that house at 29% in the market value, assuming the prices go up to what they were before the downturn. I was listening in to a Q&A show with a successful business person, and a good chunk of the question posed to him was around selling their property or holding off buying one. That should give you a good indication of the kind of sentiment that's around. That same concept should apply pretty much to all investment opportunities. I'm no Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio, but from what I'm seeing, the stock market has been dipping consistently. So if that's something you're interested in, you could leverage your money for good deals. For example, Delta Airlines stocks have gone down from about $58.72 in February 2012 to $22.40 on March 22nd. Ain't that crazy? Now the next question is now the best time, or should I wait a little longer to go ahead and pull the trigger on a deal? By now, it should be clear to you that no one knows, right? However, there's a strategy that I came across during my research that I thought was dope. Essentially, it's about increasing your investment. Essentially, it consists of increasing your investment spend per increment or milestone. Let's just say, for example, going back to the Delta situation, you would want to buy additional stock only when the price that drops by, let's just say, $10 or whatever number you're happy with. So you wouldn't purchase every day, but by an increment of $10, you'd go ahead and purchase more. Nothing in between. I hope that makes sense. Let's get into step 4 of today's topic. At this very moment on March 8th, it is understood that if you're under the age of 50-ish, the likelihood for your health to be in danger is quite slim. So why not use this opportunity to do some housekeeping? Are you happy with the amount of savings that you have today? Any opportunities to optimize your budget or to revisit it? Do you have life insurance policy in place for you and your family? I might have heard something a couple of years ago around the fact that life insurance is not an African thing, whatever that means. So what's going to happen if you go in a coma for 3 weeks and you're the sole breadwinner for your family or your business? Do you have a plan for the business of your family to keep on running even when you're gone? Use this time as a motivation to put foundation in place right now. The reason why I bring this up is that during firm times, those topics get deprioritized because the confidence level is so high. I bet you ain't too high right now. Now in the following point, I'm going to touch on something really, really important. Is there a project that you've been putting off, or a skill set that you always wanted to acquire, or a business idea that you want to research on, explore, or maybe kickstart, but you could never get around to it because of no time? And that had been nagging you for a long time now. Well, now is the time. What's the likelihood that you have so much free time again, paid or not? We should definitely leverage this time as we're given 2 to 4 weeks or however long this is going to last as an opportunity to make strides and focus on changing our lives, focus on making changes in our lives that we always wanted to make. I would not call it a blessing, but you probably get what I'm trying to say, right? Since we have zero control over this, let's just make the best out of it. Don't waste any more time. Just get stuff done right now. And the 5th point, last but not least, what would I do if I was completely against the wall and I could not? What would I do if I was completely against the wall and I could not pay for my rent, my mortgage, my car notes, or whatever commitment I have? Well, I drive around my city and look for businesses that are struggling and offer them solutions that will help them win in this tough time. I'll probably reach out to about 50 businesses per day and trying to sell my skills at half price if need be. Because if you're able to help them win during wartime, don't you think they'd want to keep you around during party time? So if this video resonates with you and then you want yourself and other Africans to win and not being spectator during this crisis, I urge you to go ahead and share it to 5 people you know will benefit from it. Remember, let's focus on opportunities, not the fears, because you will get what you're looking for and you have no control over the situation. Now, my question to you is, out of these 5 points that I just shared with you, which one do you think you're going to apply? Let me know in the comments below. And really, there's not enough of content like this that help the diaspora prosper. So what I would ask you to do is click on the thumbs up below to encourage content like this on YouTube. Peace out.